Here we have the first diver who is ready on the platform, Konstantin Popovici. He'll start this final with a already very hard dive at 3.6 degree of difficulty, armstand back, double somersault, 2.5 twists. Konstantin had a good, solid competition this morning. He competed very well, except for one dive, the third dive in his list, the reverse 3.5 somersault tuck, where he scored just 10 points. He completely missed it, very short on his back. Let's see if he can improve this afternoon. Nice armstand, very steady, controls it very well. And a good dive to start this final. Well executed, better than this morning. He scored 63 points this morning on this dive, and other than losing control of his feet a tiny bit before getting in the water, he does an excellent job. You saw it there, the feet. You see that at the very end of the twist, when he got in the pike, he lost them a little bit, but he got vertical pretty well, and he does a much better job than the morning. 7th from the judges, a total of 75-60. Second diver from Vienna, Austria. Forward, 3.5 somersault pike for Anton Noll. A good dive by Anton. Did not start very fast in the somersault off the platform, but it was a strong jump. Probably a bit too distant from the platform. He makes some room from between him and the platform, so he jumps a little bit too far forward. But a very good entry, not bad at all to start off these forward 3.5 somersault pike. A total of 64.50 with this 3.0 degree of difficulty dive for Anton. From Italy now, Edward Timbretti, same as Konstantin Popovici. He also struggled with the reverse 3.5 somersault tuck this morning. That was his worst dive. He only scored 23 points on that dive this morning. Other than that, his competition was consistent, around the 65 points per dive average. Inward 3.5 somersault tuck, and he did score 62 this morning on this dive. And this is not gonna score as much as the one he did this morning. He goes too far over in the entry. The top part was very good. You see, good tuck position, very fast in the somersault. It kicks a little bit too late, and especially he drops his head on the lineup to get in the water, and that's what caused the legs to go too far over. 5.5 from the judges, 52.80 for him. Now is time for Jaden Ackerman to show us the same dive as the Italian diver before him. Jaden had a roller coaster of a competition this morning. He started off with his inward 3.5 somersault for 62 points, then went all the way down to 49 on the third dive, and then back up to 85 points with the fifth dive. And again, not a great start of the competition, just like Edward before him. Same mistake. It was a good top, very high when he finished the 3 somersaults, and then let the dive fall too far over the vertical line. Saw how his hands placement was too low here, and And same as Edward, he doesn't get up to 50 points, just 48 for him on the first dive, even less than this morning. Next up is the youngest diver of this final, Isaac Borslin from Bergen, Norway. Very young diver. I was talking with his coach, Kim White, and told me how excited he is. Very excited diver. Very excited to be here in a final and starting very well with a front 3.5 somersault pike. We saw Kim White on screen a second ago. Starts well with his forward 3.5 somersault pike. The pike position is not very sharp, just his elbows are lifted a little bit too much out of the legs. Sit here, and the entry is good, just slightly still in a pike position. Could have gotten straighter entering the water. Sixes from the judges, 54 points for Isaac Borslin. And now on the platform is Robert Lukashevich, and you can hear the crowd screaming for him. Same dive for the Polish diver, forward 3.5 somersault pike. And a good job overall with that. Probably just a little bit better than Isaac, but the entry is not what we expected from this takeoff. He had plenty of room to get a cleaner entry, but probably the wrong timing getting on his hands, and it is better than Isaac before him. Seventh from the judges with a great entry on this dive. He would have scored much more. We might have seen 8 and 8.5 if the entry was just cleaner. Bronze medalist from Rome 2022 at the European Championship, Benjamin Cutmore, is ready to show us a back armstand double somersault 2.5 twist. Only 50 points this morning on this dive for Ben. He went over this morning on this dive. He had a very good top part of the dive, but then let the legs fall over. And much better this afternoon. He fell a little bit for too long from the armstand. Controlled it very well, but here he kicks a little bit too low and it loses completely control of the feet. You see it here, splits them apart a lot, but overall is very good. It's a high scoring dive, much better than this morning. 75 points, 60 points for him. He's in first place right now. Next up, from Spain, Carlos Camacho, forward 3.5 somersault pike. And a good dive for Carlos. Slightly short in the lineup. The top part of the dive was good. It's very fast, getting in the pack. The somersault is good. When it gets to the hands, it just seems like it doesn't check very well where the hands should be placed for a perfect entry. Better than this morning, but I'm sure with a better entry he could have scored much more. 63 points, still better than this morning by 3 points when he scored 60 in the morning. Next up is Yevhen Naumenko. Inward 3.5 somersault tuck for the Ukrainian diver. and a big miss for the Ukrainian diver. And we see Tamara Goncharova, the coach, not very happy with the outcome of this first dive of the Ukrainian diver. Kicks, and also in this case, the hands placement in the water, the movement to go and reach towards the water and get a clean entry is completely wrong. The dive ends up being too far over. 5 from the judges. It's 48 points for him on this dive. From Italy, the third-ranked diver this morning, Riccardo Giovannini, and backwards 2.5 somersault pike with 1.5 twist. Oh, better, much better entry by the Italian compared to the divers that dove right before him. Good twist, very fast getting in a pike position, spurs that somersault and gets a perfect vertical entry. Could have been a little bit cleaner, but very, very good dive for Riccardo. In third place at the moment at 73.60 points. And now Robbie Lee, inward 3.5 somersault for the British diver. Another inward 3.5 somersault that ends up being too far over. Good top. He's very fast in the somersault. Look how high it is. Came out above the 5-meter platform, and even though he came out quite early, he still didn't stop the somersaulting and ended up being too far over for excellent scores. 6s from the judges. 57.60 for him, in 7th place right now. And now on the platform with the same dive, there is Timo Bartel. Last year in Rome, Timo struggled with the first dive, was the back arm sent triple somersault tuck, and lost a chance of getting a medal. And he does a good job, a better job here than the first dive of last year. All it was missing was a great entry. The top part of the dive, the first 9 meters of the dive were perfect. Here at the very end, he leaves the dive short. Oh, so that the scores from the judges are 6.5 and 7 for Timo. Could have done better. He's talking with the coaches, showing what happened, talking with them, explaining himself. 64 points for him. And we have the standings after the first round of dives. Benjamin Cutmore is in first, Konstantin Popovic in second, and Riccardo Giovannini in third. All of them past the 70 points mark. Closing the standings are Jaden Ackerman and Yevhen Naumenko with 48 points. Let's start the second round of dives with Konstantin Popovici. Konstantin is showing us a backward 2.5 somersault, 2.5 twist. Again, for him is another dive of a 3.6 degree of difficulty. Konstantin won last year European Championship, but on the high diving, did not dive in the pool. He dove, well, not in the diving pool. He dove in the high diving pool and won. This year, not having the high diving at Europeans, is diving in the pool. And he does an excellent job with this back twister. Very good top. He's very fast when taking off. He gets in the twist as fast as possible, completes the two and a half twist, then a good entry, just loose in the core. You see it here, arched in the water, but vertical, very high degree of difficulty, and for Konstantin it's once again more than 70 points. Judges give him 6.5 and 7, total of 72 in this dive, 147.60. Next up, fourth ranked diver after the first round of dives is Anton Noll, the young diver from Vienna. Arms and back double somersault, 1.5 twist. This is the dive that he decided to change, to add to his list this season. Last year he was doing the arms and back triple somersault. He started working on this at the beginning of the season and decided that it was better. Good arm stand, stops it perfectly vertical. And a good dive by the young Austrian diver. Very good top. Again, it's another time we see the diver losing control of the feet in the twist a little bit here. The feet come apart, but after that he does a good job getting vertical slightly over, and the entry is clean enough for 7th from the judges. Not too bad. And Anton is at 131.70 right now. Edoardo Timbrezzi now from Italy. Same dive, arms and back double 1.5 twist for him. 60 points in the morning on this dive for Edward. First of all, he needs to show a perfect arm stand on the platform, stop it and control it. That is the first requirement of this dive, and then good takeoff and an excellent job. And once again, which is not common for a platform final, we did not see a great entry in the water. That is very important for platform divers. Learning how to disappear underwater. Excellent entries boost your scores up, and even though this dive was very good, the very heavy and splashy entry in the water gave Edward 6s from the judges, 57.60 for him. And he's at 110 at the moment. Now, Jaden Ackerman, 3.7 degree of difficulty forward, 4.5 somersault tuck. And a great dive by the young German diver. Much, much better than this morning. Only 49 points on this dive in the morning. He'll score many more here. Excellent, excellent timing in the come out. This dive is very hard. You gotta hold on to that tuck position for a very long time, and in order to make it 4.5 somersault, you gotta spin very fast. It's not easy. An excellent dive, the best dive of the day so far. 7.5 and 7. 81 point is at 129.40. Isaac Armsen, back double somersault, 1.5 twist for the Norwegian diver. He was at 54 points after the first round in in 9th place. 57 points for him on this dive in the morning. A good armstand. He pushes up here. And an excellent entry. A very good entry. He'll score more than this morning with this one for sure. Just the only thing about this dive that could have been better is the kick. You saw how he kicks too far low, so the dive just falls very fast, but he did a great job in the lineup. This time, the hands are placed very well, and as I said before, he scored more points than the morning. 68-80, 122 for him after 2 dives. Robert Lukasiewicz, inward 3.5 somersault dive. You see the crowd from Poland here in Czechów cheering for him. .2 degree of difficulty for this dive. It was in 6th place before this round, after the first one. And another dive, once again, that was very good up in the air. Good speed in the somersault. Very high when it came out above the 5-meter platform, but let the dive go too far over for excellent scores. Too bad. Probably a lot of pressure on him today, but it's just the second dive and still getting a 7th from the judges. 128.60. And Robert is in 4th place right now. They're all very close. All very close. Benjamin Cutmore. Reverse 3.5 somersault tuck for the British diver. Benjamin was in 1st place. He was leading with Konstantin Popovici after the first dive. And a good dive. Good dive. He'll get another dive, high-scoring dive. Very good, strong jump. Tuck position is perfect. Slightly over. He was carrying a lot of speed out of that 3rd somersault. Above 5 meters for him. The kick is good. Perfect leg control. And just the entry could have been better. 7th from the judges, and he's in 2nd place at 147. Very close to Konstantin Popovici at 147.60, so less than a point between them. And now Carlos Camacho. The same rotation, the same dive, a reverse dive, but just 2.5 somersaults for Carlos. He got 60 points this morning on this dive. And he'll probably not score as much this afternoon. We see disappointment from the Spanish coaches. This dive is very easy. You should not let it fall so far over. You need a much cleaner entry for high scores. Probably just 6s. Yeah, exactly. Worse than this morning. 5.5, 6s, 6.5. A little disagreement from the judges there between 5.5 and 7s are the scores. 6s are the ones that count. 51.80 is at 114 points. And now we have Ukrainian diver Naumenko, back 3.5 somersault tuck. Needs to step up after a big mistake on the first dive. And another miss by Yevhen. Same as the Spanish coaches, also the Ukrainian team looks disappointed. He kicks way too high, way too late for that kind of somersault. Probably didn't understand very well how the dive was going, and doesn't manage to get vertical. Below 40 points, 39.60 right now for him. He's at 87.60, far back in the rankings. Giovannini, Riccardo from Italy. Same dive as Carlos Camacho, the reverse 2.5 somersault, but in a pike position. Nicely executed, very good, strong jump. It takes off with perfectly straight legs, it squeezes the pike position, and a nice lineup for a great entry. We're going to see high scores here. I think 8 should show up from the judges. Very nice lineup. And yeah, even a couple of 8.5s that do not count, they get scratched. So 7.5, 7.5, and 8 give a total of 69 points, and he gets at 142 points. In third place, Riccardo Giovannini. And now British diver Robbie Lee. Arms and back double somersault, 1.5 twist. Robbie was the diver who gave us the highest scoring dive this morning, the forward 4.5 somersault tuck. And a great entry for the British diver. Excellent Armstrong, stopped it perfectly vertical, and a great top part of the dive let him square that twist and get it perfectly vertical. We're gonna see 8 again, I think. And here they are, 7.5 and 8 from the judges. So a total of 73.60 for him on this dive, and 131.20 after 2 dives. And Robbie is in fifth place right now. Timo Bartel now. Arms and back triple somersault tuck. Slowly gets all the way up. A very steady Armstrong for Timo. Oh, amazing dive by Timo. Excellent entry. And Team Germany is happy about that. And if we saw 8 before, we're going to see 9th here. Excellent. Look, no splashes at all. Nice, strong kick out of the somersault. Stops the rotation completely. And excellent. And as I told you, here comes the 9 from the judges. Just judge number 6 with an 8.5 that doesn't count. 153.10 with the first 2 rounds of dives. 89 on this dive, and now Timo gets in first place. Here there are the standings. Timo Bartel in first, Konstantin Popovici in second, and Benjamin Cutmore in third. But as always, I want to remind you that first of all, we still have 4 rounds to go, and second of all, with this high degree of difficulty dives, anything can happen. So do not leave the screen, not even for a dive, because this is going to be very exciting. Let's see how Konstantin Popovici does. Just waiting for the referee to blow his whistle. Now he's ready to go. So what happened this morning? He scored only 10 points. Just 10 points for him. Which is, he got ones. That's what it means. The scores from the judges were ones, and he came out way too early from the somersault, and even had to bend his knees in order to get less horizontal on the water and do not fail completely the dive. A much better job by the Romanian diver this afternoon. Much better. Still short for sure, but a stronger jump off the platform. Very fast somersaulting. Once again, when he comes out, he reaches back too early with his head and hands, and that causes his lower back to arch too much. The legs fall short, but 54 more points than this morning. So a total of 64-60 with this dive, and he gets up to 212 points after 3 rounds of dives. Same dive for Anton Noll. Anton also struggled on this dive in the morning. Him, Konstantin, and Edward Timbretti, the Italian diver, all have this dive in the third round and all scored less than 40 points with this. That was very good on the top, but the bottom part of the dive arched a lot. He got in the water in a completely loose core position. You see it here, he kicks up and completely arches his back. See it very well here. He did not keep his core tight, and too bad. With a great entry, this could have been a high-scoring dive. Better than this morning though, 49-30 for him on this dive. He gets up to 181 points. And here it is. We had them back to back to 3 reverse, 3.5 somersaults that didn't score much in the morning. Now we have Edward Timbretti. Just 27 points for him, 23 points for him this morning on this dive. And also for Edward, it's a better job than this morning overall. Not excellent. He again struggles with the come out. Top part was not as good as Anton and Konstantin. And also the kick is the right timing, but then his hands are just not in the right spot to get a clean entry. Once again, third time in a row that the diver who missed it this morning does a much better job in the afternoon, but total of 166 points for Edward Timberetti, who doubled exactly the total score from this morning in this dive. Next up, Jaden Ackerman, back 3.5 somersault tuck for him. Oh, very good, very good. I guess this afternoon Jaden showed up very more, how should I put it, interested in diving. It looked like this morning it was a little bit off. And well, today he's definitely on. And strong jump, perfect rotation, and a great entry. Just 49 points in this morning, in this dive this morning, and 74-25 this afternoon. A total of 203.65. Much better, much better. Back 3.5 somersault tuck also for Isaac Borslane. And quite short already from takeoff. You could see now on the slow motion, already from takeoff, this dive just doesn't pick up much speed, and you definitely want some speed on a 3.5 somersault in the rotation. That's what I mean by speed. The somersaulting rotation is quite slow, and it ends up way too short. 5 from the judges, and Isaac scores a total of 49.50 on this dive. 172 points after 3 dives. Robert Lukashevich. And once again, we have a back 3.5 somersault tuck to watch. Robert needs 8.5s on this dive to get ahead of Konstantin Popovici in first. And unfortunately for the Polish diver, he's not going to get that. This dive ends up being way too far over. And I gotta tell you, this is a mental game. Probably he wanted to overdo. He just tried too hard and couldn't control that kind of somersault and went way too far over. 164.90 for the Polish diver halfway through the competition. Benjamin Cutmore now. Benjamin was in third place after 2 rounds of dives. And he's performing an inward 3.5 somersault tuck. Oh, excellent. Very good. Perfect first part of the dive. Perfect. The jump was fast, high, perfect distance from the platform. Just the hands on the water are not completely flat, so this dive ends up splashing a little bit too much. That's why it's not perfect, but 7.5 from the judges, 219 total points, and he's in first. Right now he has a 7-point advantage on Konstantin Popovici. Next up, back 3.5 somersault tuck, 3.3 degree of difficulty for Carlos Camacho from Madrid, Spain. And a good dive by Carlos. Finally a good entry. He had some very good final parts of the dive, of his dives. And today he didn't show it to, this afternoon at least, he didn't show it to us yet. Here is very clean entry on this back 3.5 somersault tuck. A big disagreement by the judges. A couple give 6.5, other 8. But the 3 that count are 7, 7.5, 7.5, and a total it gets up to 187.40. And now the 12th ranked diver after 2 rounds of dives is Yevhen Naumenko, reverse 3.5 somersault tuck. And then once again, completely wrong timing on the come out, just like he did in the back 3.5 somersault tuck. This time around, he does the opposite. Instead of waiting, he kicks out too early, too low, completely arched in the water. Another dive way below average for him. A total of 133 points for Yevhen. And now Riccardo Giovannini from Rome, Italy. Forward 3.5 somersault pike for the Italian diver. And a good overall dive. Not bad at all. Probably just not very strong off the platform. The jump off the platform was a little bit too far forward, so he creates too much distance between him, the entry, and the platform. But overall, above average, 64.50 for him on this dive, and a total of 207 points for Ricardo. And Ricardo is in third place at the moment, waiting for Robbie Scott Lee, and Timo Bartel were left in this round of dives. Back 3.5 somersault now for Robbie. And a very good top part of the dive. He was very fast in the somersault. He couldn't stop that though. When he kicked out, it was a little bit too late, and he let the legs fall too far over. So not very high scores from the judges on this dive. 5.5. 52.80 for Robbie, and a total of 180 puts him in 6th place at the moment. Here we have the last diver of this round, and leader of the rankings in the previous round, Timo Bartel. His worst dive of the morning, just 55 points on this dive. 4.5 somersault, tuck, 3.7 degree of difficulty. And once again, he does not get all the way vertical in the entry, and he's gonna probably he's definitely not gonna reach Benjamin Cutmore in first with this dive. Too short. He did not pick up much speed in the somersault. Look how short he is, and exactly as I told you, 4.5 from the judges give him 49.95 points, and a total of 203.05 for him. And now we have the standings up halfway through the competition. Benjamin Cutmore in first, 219. Konstantin Popovici in second, 212. And Riccardo Giovannini in third at 207. And the others, you can see them on the screen. Closing the rankings again. Yevhen Naumenko, who's not having a great day at the pool this afternoon. And we are ready for round number 4. Konstantin Popovici, back 3.5 somersault pike. .6 degree of difficulty. Once again, he's taking a long time focusing for this dive. Very long time. It's been many seconds now up there. Here he is. And I have a feeling that he did the same thing this morning on the reverse 3.5 somersault, where he scored just 10 points. When it takes so much time before taking off, before starting the dive, I don't know, it kind of looks like he just burns too many mental energies, and then he's just not fresh and doesn't understand very well when is the right time to come out. Just 50 points for Konstantin Popovici on this dive, and considering he was in second place, this could put him at risk for a medal here today. 262 after 4 dives. Now Anton No, back 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. And this morning Anton scored 70 points with this dive, but he did a great job this morning on the second part of the dive because he started very slow. And once again, he does that. Not fast at all, this somersault. but he's very sharp in the air, a beautiful pike position, and especially a great entry. No splashes there for Anton Noll from Vienna. And he's going to score more than this morning. This was great, excellent dive. 8 from the judges, a total of 76.80 on this dive, and 257 for him after 4 dives. And he gets very close to Konstantin Popovici, just 5 points behind. Forward 3.5 somersault pike for Edward Timbretti. Oh, great, excellent entry. This dive is very well executed. Probably just not too strong off the platform, but that entry brings the scores up for sure. He's probably going to score around 8, I'd say. And yeah, even an 8.5, that doesn't count though. And Matteo Santoro on screen, he seems to be liking that dive. 8, 238.50 for the Italian diver after 4 rounds. And now we have Jaden Eckerman, back armstand, double somersault 2.5 twist, 3.6 degree of difficulty. Not very steady on the armstand. It was there for a while, but not very steady. There was a lot of movement since the beginning of the dive, and this dive ends up being quite too far over. Yeah, you see it here when he comes out of the twist, he drops his head, also arches his back a little bit, and the legs go too far over. He's not going to score very high. And yeah, 5 and 5.5 for him. 261.25. He's in second place right now behind Konstantin Popovic by just less than a point. No, I'm sorry about that. By almost 1.5. Sorry, just a bit more than a point. And now Isaac Borselien, inward 3.5 somersault tuck for the Norwegian diver. Nicely done. Probably not as good as the one he did this morning. This was his best dive in the morning. 75 points for him. Still a good dive. The entry is not as clean as possible, but overall a good job on this dive for him right now. Definitely the best one he did also this afternoon so far. Actually, yeah, 62.40 for Isaac. No, the back armstand scored more, but still a very good job for him. Robert Lukashevich now 11th after halfway through the competition after 3 dives. Armstand back triple somersault tuck. Armstand is good, but once again is just off in the lineup. He's not only late in coming out, he also never gets completely straight. Doesn't extend his hips completely, so not only is over, it's also slightly still in a pike position. You see it here. And low scores once again, unfortunately, for the diver from Cheshov. Diving in his pool where he practices every day. 4th from the judges. and Robert gets up at 206 points now. And we have the leader of the competition now on the platform. Back 3.5 somersault pike for Benjamin Cutmore. 66 points on this dive for him this morning. And he only needs 4s and 4.5s to get ahead of Konstantin Popovici now. Oh, he's gonna get many more points. Much higher scores than 4 and 4.5 for sure. And very strong jump, the perfect pike position. See, there's no room at all between his legs and stomach in the somersault. Excellent come out. The only thing is that his entry brings up a little bit too many splashes, but very good. 7. He gets up at 294 points after 4 dives. So he has a 32 points. He's 32 points ahead of Konstantin Popovici in second place right now. Inward 3.5 somersault tuck for Carlos Camacho. This was his worst dive in the morning. Only 48 points this morning on this dive. And once again, Carlos just does not come out at the right time. These dives goes too far over. His hands seem to be way too far ahead of his legs. So he moved. What I'm saying, I'll explain myself. Before jumping, his hands are already in front of his face. He should have kept them up a little bit longer. He probably also dropped his head too far down. 3 and 3.5 from the judges for him is in 7th place right now at 219. Forward 3.5 somersault pike for Yevhen Naumenko. Also, this dive is not wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad dive. It's just not excellent. And again, in the entry, it seems like he's just not timing right the last part of the dive, the hand placement on the water. Either does it way too early or slow or too late. And it has been like that throughout the whole competition for him. 192 points for Yevhen. And we have Riccardo Giovannini now, inward 3.5 somersault tuck for the Italian diver who was sitting in 3rd place halfway through the competition. And a good top part of the dive. He wasn't very fast in the somersault. He wasn't spinning extremely fast. Probably thought he needed to hold on to the tuck position longer. What happened is that he goes too far over. 6s from the judges. So below average for a final this dive for Giovannini. 6s, 264 total points. He's right there, very close to Konstantin Popovici and Jaden Ackerman, 264. And now Robbie Lee, his best dive from this morning's competition, actually the best dive of the morning in the prelims, 90 points this morning for him. Oh, and once again he nails the entry. He's very good at this dive. We see the journey, his teammate just cheering and screaming for him. The top part goes, gotta say, a little bit too far away from the platform. It's probably not tense, but look at that entry. Not a splash coming out of the water. 9s from the judges, even better than this morning. And this dive is very close from 100 points, 96.20, and he gets in 2nd place, 96 dive, 96 points. Sorry about that. Amazing job by the young British diver. And now, complete silence in the pool once again for the back 3.5 somersault tuck by Timo Bartel, who needs... Oh, I didn't do the math fast enough. He needs 90 points to be in first. Ooh, almost. It was a very good top part of the dive. Very high, perfect somersaulting, perfect speed in the somersault. Here, when he kicks, it just doesn't place his hands perfectly to a complete rip entry, but very good. He's still in the fight for gold for sure with this. He gets up to 277 points after this dive. And we have the ranking after 4 rounds of dives. 294 for Benjamin Cutmore in first. You'll see it now in 1 second. 294.60, 280 for his teammate Robbie Lee, 277 for Timo Bartel, and 264 for Giovannini Popovici in fifth, Eckermann in sixth. Oh, nice fourth round of dives. Especially the last couple of dives have been amazing. 96 points for Robbie. That was awesome to watch. Let's see if Konstantin, who got in 4th place after 4 dives, let's see if he can bounce back on the podium. I'm sorry about that, he was in 5th place after 4 dives, but he's not too far. Can still have a chance to get a medal here today. He needs perfect inward 3.5 somersault tuck here. And a good dive, very good. He's very sharp up on the platform, taking off fast, and he squeezes the tuck position very well. He just got in the water with a loose core, so the entry is not the cleanest possible, but a good dive overall. 7th from the judges. 7th from the judges for Konstantin, saying hi to the camera. 329.80 for him. Anton Knoll now, he was in 7th place, and he has a back 3.5 somersault tuck. He needs to get a very tight core, squeeze his abs and lower back muscles for the entry, because on the reverse 3.5 somersault he got loose. He did not do that on this dive, but over rotate, and the scores are not going to be very high because he goes way too far over the vertical line. You see it here, kicks too far high and doesn't stop the somersault. 5.5 from the judges. 5.5 for him from the judges. A total of 52.80 and 310 with 5 dives. Now on the platform is Edward Timbretti, who was in 8th place. He's doing also a back 3.5 somersault tuck. Good dive overall. It was a good jump, very high, and the only thing about this dive, he came out too horizontal and left the leg short. Here you see it, how it's not completely falling vertical into the water. He's Total score on this dive are 61.05 points, 299 for him before the last dive. And now Jaden Eckerman, his best dive for the morning, from the morning was this one, 85 points with it. Oh no, not at all, completely missed this dive. His coach here on screen right now thinking about what could have gone wrong, and I'll tell you, it just kicks past the 3.5 somersaults here. Completely vertical, but he still had 4 meters to go, and low scoring dive for him, just 28.90 on this dive, 290 on after 5 dives for Jaden. Now on the platform is Isaac Borslane, reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. This is his 5th dive. Isaac was at 234 points in 9th place. Nicely executed. Is an easy dive, just 2.8 degree of difficulty, but does a good job here. Probably a little bit too much upper body swing movement while jumping. He should have kept the upper body still for a longer time, but other than that, he does a good job controlling the somersault and lining up. 7.5 from the judges. It's a total of 60 points on this dive, and he gets up at 294 total right now. Robert Lukashevich, back 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. 65 points for him this morning, but unfortunately for Robert, he underperformed all of his dives so far. And finally, this might be the chance of scoring more than what he has done this morning. He does a good job in the twist, especially in the pike position. He squeezes it enough to get vertical. Probably could have gotten straighter in the water. I don't know if he's scored 65 this morning, and just right below that total score with that dive this afternoon, 64 points, 270 for him right now. And now Benjamin Cutmore, who doesn't need many points to get ahead of Konstantin Popovici, but definitely he wants a high scoring dive on this back twister, because he knows that after him there will be his teammate Robbie and Timo at the end of this round that are doing a great job so far in the competition. So he was in first. He wants to keep up with that pace. Oh wow, amazing entry on this dive. Excellent job, and I gotta tell you, it's gonna be hard for Timo and Robbie to keep up with Benjamin in this round. Amazing job coming out of the twist and grabbing his legs for a fast somersault. Probably a little bit too distant from the platform. That's the only thing about this dive, because the entry was excellent. You see it here, how far from the platform he was. But look at that, perfectly vertical, a great entry. 7.5 for him, big smile too. 375.60. And as of right now, he is 45 points ahead of Konstantin Popovici, that is in second. That's an impressive competition so far by Benjamin. He's doing very, very good. Armsen back double somersault 1.5 twist for Carlos, who was in 10th place. Struggling with the handstand here. Yeah, now he stops it. Nice, perfectly vertical. Awesome dive. Very good. Too bad he missed a lot the last dive, the last round, because this is very well executed back handstand. Look at that entry. Boom, perfect, no splashes. That's what divers especially on platforms, that's what they want. This is the event where entries make the biggest difference. 7s from the judges, not bad at all, and he's at 286 right now. Now Yevhen Naumenko, also for Yevhen, is the back armstand in this round. Yevhen was in last place before this dive and had way too many mistakes throughout the competition. Yeah, coaches are shaking their head. Not too happy about this performance. But hey, that happens. I mean, it's not always a great day, and especially when competing on 10 meters. It's very easy to make mistakes. There's a lot of things to do in the air and a lot of time and meters to 10 meters to and any mistake could happen. And it was just an off day for Yevhen today. He got 60 points on this dive and is at 252 after 5 dives. Riccardo Giovannini now. Riccardo needs 7s, 6.5s and 7s to get ahead of Konstantin Popovici on this back armstand double somersault 1.5 twist. Mathematically, he does not have a chance of reaching Benjamin Cutmore in first. He was in 4th place after the last round, and he does a very good job. Most likely getting the 7th that he needs. Very nice takeoff. He just splits his legs while kicking, which is not nice to see. And the entry, now that I see it in slow motion, could have been cleaner. And the judges do not award him all the 7s he needed, so he's just in 3rd place, 1 point behind Konstantin Popovici. That will be quite a fight for bronze medal, I'd say now. Probably not the bronze medal, but 4th place between those two, Konstantin and Riccardo, unless Robbie and Timo make a mistake here. Reverse 3.5 somersault, tuck, and a good dive. Robbie needed 9.5, which he's not gonna get to reach Benjamin in first. Is slightly too far over in the entry, kicks too far high. So I was saying not 9.5, but he gets enough to get ahead of Konstantin Popovici and create a gap before the last round of dive between him and Konstantin and Riccardo. He's at 344 right now, and Konstantin is 15 points behind at 329. Last diver of this 5th round of dives, reverse 1.5 somersault, 3.5 twist for Timo Bartel, 3.4 degree of difficulty, and 76 points for him this morning on this dive. Oh, great dive. I don't want to say more than this morning, but for sure around that. He won't get very close to Benjamin, though. Benjamin scored 81 points, so Timo does not reach him, obviously, and actually Benjamin is gaining some more advantage on the competition. 76.50 for Timo Bartel, 3:53. And we have a fight for silver for sure, but don't count Konstantin Popovic and Riccardo Giovannini out for the medals, because you see here the standings: Benjamin Cutmore in first, 3:75. Timo Bartel in second, 3:53. Robbie Lee in third, 3:44. I was checking what dives they're going to compete. Timo has a reverse 3.5 somersault tuck. Robbie has a back 2.5 somersault, 2.5 twist. And Benjamin has a forward 4.5 somersault tuck that he completely missed this morning. Anything can still happen. I'm telling you that. Stay in front of the screen, because this competition won't be over until the very last dive. The medals won't be for sure given out until the very last dive. Let's see what Konstantin Popovic, who was in fourth place, does on his forward 3.5 somersault pike. Another dive where it takes a lot of time before starting the dive, before taking off. Here he is now. And an excellent job on his last dive. The dive is perfect. Probably just the upper body on the takeoff was leaning too far forward, but then stays close to the platform and has a great entry. I honestly do not like, it's just my opinion though, I'm not saying he's wrong, I don't like the strategy of Konstantin, because he started with very hard dives and then he finished with the easiest ones, degree of difficulty wise. Usually divers use the opposite strategy. It keeps the easiest dive last, so the scores at the end are not helped to be boosted by the degree of difficulty. But he closes with 69 points on this last dive. Konstantin is at 398. Very good job for the oldest diver in this competition. Now Anton Knoll, inward 3.5 somersault tuck for the young diver from Vienna. It was sixth before this dive. A good job overall in this competition by Anton, not just on this dive. He should be very proud of what he has done today. Just a mistake here on the come out. He doesn't lift his hips while squaring that dive out of the tuck position, so he's slightly short. Once again, congratulations to Anton, because he's very young, and I'm sure we'll see him again in a final at Europeans in the future. Very talented young kid. And now from Italy, Edward Timbretti, who was in 7th place before this dive. Edward needs 8.5 on this dive to get ahead of Anton Knoll. Back 2.5 somersault pike with 1.5 twist. And an excellent dive by the Italian, just not 8.5, unfortunately for him. So he won't get in front of Anton, but excellent jump. Probably twisted a tiny bit too early. Kept his legs together perfectly, his feet. Once again, not very tight in the core. We see him losing control of the bottom part of the dive, a little bit splashy. 67.20, and Edward Timbretti improves his morning total score and gets to 366, if I check that right. Now Jaden from Aachen, Germany, back 2.5 somersault, 2.5 twist. A good job to finish the competition for him. Not too bad. Also for him, it wasn't a great day here at the pool today. He was a little bit off. Also on this dive, which wasn't bad overall, he had to bend his knees a little bit to make sure that he was going to get vertical. It closes at 365 today. Exact same score as the morning, 365 points. And now on the platform, Isaac Borselin, forward 2.5 somersault full twist. Was in 8th place, another young diver, very young diver, not even 18 yet. Doing very good today. Once again on this dive, he gets a clean entry. Well executed forward 2.5 somersault full twist. The legs are together in the twist. The entry is very, very clean. And Isaac closes his competition with 7th on the last dive and 355 total points. Should be proud of himself as well. Very well executed list of dives. And here we have the last dive of Robert Lukasiewicz. See the Polish crowd. He was in 11th place. Worst dive of the morning becomes his best dive of the afternoon, most likely, or at least if it's not the best one of the afternoon, he's very close to that because it's very well executed. The only thing missing in this dive is a perfect hand placement in the water. 66 points for him. Yes, 6.5 from the judges, and he's waving at the Polish crowd that came here to watch him. 336 total points. And now it's time for the leader of the competition so far. Benjamin needs 23 points to get ahead of Konstantin Popovici, who is leading right now on this forward 4.5 somersault tuck. And he completely missed. Again, just like this morning, probably even worse than this morning. He had an excellent takeoff. Very fast in that somersault. It didn't come out at the right time and his head just drops. You see it from the side. 1, 2, 3, and 4 somersault. Now look at the head dropping down, not facing the water. Wow. Huge mistake from Ben Cutmore, and this opens up a totally different scenario now. 35 points for him, 410 points. He is in first now, but keep an eye on his teammate Robbie Lee and Timo Bartel, because now they have a huge chance of getting gold. 66 points needed for Robbie Lee, while we watch Carlos Camacho's last dive back 2.5 somersault pike, 1.5 twist. I was saying 66 points and 59 for Timo to win. Amazing. Here is the entry rip that I was talking about that he's capable of doing. And unfortunately for him, that didn't decide. I'm saying decide to do that just in the last 2 dives, but it's not a decision. Obviously, he wanted to do that on every dive, but look at that, how clean it is. Perfect. A great sound and very clean. Too bad he would have been up there with the top-ranked divers. 368 points. Too bad for that mistake on the inward 3.5 somersault. And Carlos closes at 368, as I said, and as of right now is in 4th place. Yevhen Naumenko back Back 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist, and also for Yevon, the last dive is his best dive of the day. Very well executed back twister, nice pike position, and a great entry for him. 8, 7.5 from the judges. A total of 72 points. He closes at 324 total. And let's see what Riccardo Giovannini. Actually, Riccardo now, he didn't on the previous round, but since Benjamin made a huge mistake, now he has a chance of getting ahead of Benjamin. He needs 8 and 8.5 to get ahead of Benjamin, and 7.5 in front to be in front of Konstantin Popovici. And he's gonna get there. He's for sure getting ahead of Konstantin Popovici. Let's see if the judges give him 8.5, because he has a chance of getting ahead with his incredible back 3.5 somersault tuck. Amazing entry by the Italian in his last dive. And here are the 8.5s and 9s for Riccardo. And he does get ahead of everyone right now, just half a point ahead of Benjamin Cutmore. I can tell you that already. It appears on this here. See how happy he is, just by half a point. 411.20 for Riccardo Giovannini on this amazing last dive. And now Robbie Scott Lee, back 2.5 somersault, 2.5 twist. He needs 6s and 6.5s to get ahead of Riccardo Giovannini, who is leading right now. And it is a good job. It is a good dive. It is definitely a good dive. Not sure if it's 6.5s and 7s. Probably. Let me check. Yeah, it is overall a good dive. He arches it back. That's the only thing that leaves me thinking if, yeah, 6.5 from the judges, and Robbie gets him first right now, just 2 points ahead of Riccardo. Oh well. Let's see Timo Bartel. As I told you, the gold medal gets decided on the last dive. How exciting is that? He needs 6s. He got more than that, way more than that in the morning. And here we have the new European champion, Timo Bartel. After many years at Europeans in this event, he finally gets the medal that he really wanted. He wanted it so much, so bad. And listen, it's the gold medal, not just a medal, but the best one. 8 from the judges, even a 9. Look at that kick, so strong. 8, and we have the new European champion, Timo Bartel from Germany. A total of 81 points on this dive, and an overall total 435 points for him, and gold medal. That was another very exciting competition here in Czechov. We see Jaden Ackerman hugging his teammate, congratulating him. Timo Bartel, European champion. Looks like he's telling the audience that he's aiming for the Olympics, and that's where he's going, because this was the last individual event that gave a spot at Paris 2024. So definitely now aiming for that. Oh wow, how exciting. Here we have the final standings of these European Championship here in Czechov. Timo Bartel, 435.40 points from Germany. Robbie Scott Lee, 413.20 from Great Britain. And Riccardo Giovannini with 411 These are our 3 medalists. Well, wow, another final decided the very last dive. We have been so many.